Hello, everyone, and welcome to Battle of the Beasts Transformation Takedown, episode number 5. I'm Adam, and today we got the 5th battle of round 1 out of 15. So we're almost a third of the way there. And this battle is between two beasts, one of which was going to skip round 1 due to the matchups being in their favour to where this beast would skip. However, I forgot to add another beast to the drafting, making the total participants for this tournament go from 29 to 30. So as there's now an even number, that beast now has to fight in round 1, and his opponent isn't the weakest beast, let's say. So yeah, I apologize if you actually like the beast that I forgot about, but to me it's a forgettable beast and one of my least favorite specials, might I add. So let's introduce these beasts. Representing Series 16, the Siege of Kildor, we have Kanis, the Shadowhound, versus his opponent. From the specials, one of the more forgettable ones in my opinion, but still has the ability to transform, we have Kragos and Kildor, the two-headed demon. Is that? Yeah, that is the title. Just had to double check. But yeah, Kanis versus Kragos and Kildor. Kanis was almost lucky enough to skip round 1. However, I remember Kragos and Kildor existed after I uploaded the announcement and drafting video, and remembered before episode 1 was recorded. So yay! So yeah, I am a bit ashamed as a beast reviewer to forget about this beast, but it's not just me that forgot about this beast. Before I recorded the announcement and drafting video, I went on a call with Lucas just going through each beast, making sure we have every single one. And he forgot about it just like I did as well. So yeah, I'll take responsibility for me forgetting about it. But it's not just me that forgot about this beast. As no one else knew about this tournament being next, I couldn't ask anyone else. So yeah. At least I remembered him eventually. So with that, let's get to the stats. Kanis the Shadowhound. When the witch Kenta brought ordinary Kildorian creatures under her thrall, she turned a gentle dog into this giant savage. Tom had to be very careful not to harm the innocent animal when battling the beast. Age 4, power 231, magic level 106, fright factor 93, size 133. Powers and abilities: Shadow Form. Kanis, like his title suggests, can turn his body into a shadow, which lets him phase through attacks, walk through walls, and harm shadows. He can switch between his regular and shadow form at will. Natural armor, natural weaponry, and enhanced senses. Weaknesses: harmed by shadows. When in his shadow form, Kanis can still be harmed by shadows. Inability to harm regular beings. Also, when in his shadow form, Kanis cannot harm regular beings. Reversion by removal of discolored fur. If the tuft of discolored fur is removed, Kanis reverts back to a regular dog. Kragos and Kildor, the two-headed demon. This two-headed beast can change and reform itself into different creatures. It last appeared in the form of a ram and a stag. The two-headed demon desires the magical golden cup of life, a precious object which will protect anyone who drinks from it against death. Age 302, power 282, magic level 191, fright factor 91, size 140. Powers and abilities: Kragos' power, natural weaponry, limited shapeshifting, enhanced durability, and fusionism. Kildor, natural weaponry, enhanced durability, enhanced strength, and fusionism. Fused form, splitting, reincarnation, that's banned from the tournament, natural weaponry, flame aura, and enhanced strength. Equipment: only in the fused form, sharp silver discs. Weaknesses: Kragos, fear of hunters on horseback. Kildor, no known weaknesses, but probably the same as Kragos, so fear of hunters on horseback. And fused, horn entanglement is the weakness. So, bit of a mouthful there, but hey ho, it's Kragos and Kildor. So yeah, moving on. Okay, so we've done the stats on Kanis and Kragos and Kildor. And right now, what I am going to quickly confirm, the stag here is Kragos, the ram is Kildor, just in case anyone gets confused. The battlefield will be the Fallen Kingdom arena, and with that, let's get into this. As the chamber doors open, both Canis bounds out of his chamber into the center of the arena, howls into it, waving the pitchfork tail like a whip, where you can actually hear a whip crack. And as he looks to the other side of the arena, Kragos and Kildor both make their way out of the chamber, acting completely docile. Kanis looks a bit confused, but refuses to let his guard down as he stares at both of these beasts as they slowly make their way around Canis to where one's on the left, one's on the right of Canis. As Canis is looking at both of them, trying to keep a close eye on both of them, he closes his eyes and uses his hearing, listens to what might happen. As he bends his head down, listening very carefully, he hears that both of them make a running start right towards him, in which Canis turns into a shadow form and jumps out of the way as both these beasts collide into each other, creating Kragos and Kildor. Canis turns around and sees the demon right in front of him. As he reverts back to his normal form, Kragos and Kildor bring out 2 silver discs and chuck them straight towards Canis. Canis sees that and turns into his ghost form to avoid both of them, but one of them, the shadow of one of them, hits his shadow. Canis howls in pain as he reverts back to his normal form as blood starts gushing out of him from seemingly nowhere. Canis then charges up towards Kragos and Kildor, turning into a shadow form, and using his pitchfork tail, stabs at the shadow. Kragos and Kildor roars in pain by this, but is able to lash out, which actually hits Canis' shadow, as Kragos and Kildor's shadow hits Canis' shadow. Canis also roars in pain. Canis reverts back to his normal form and charges back towards Kragos and Kildor. As Kragos and Kildor turns round to greet Canis, Canis pins him down and goes to bite down onto Kildor's head. But Kragos is having none of it and using his horns to just batter Canis' head away, trying to push his head away from Kildor's head. They both summon up a disc in each hand and using it, don't even throw it, just stab it right into Canis' neck. Canis howls in pain as he rears back, trying to reel back from the pain. As Kragos and Kildor get back up, they both go back into Stag and Ram as they run round towards Canis and go to headbutt him on either side, which they actually land this time, which crushes Canis' stomach area, actually hitting his ribs. Canis roars in pain as he feels that one of his ribs has actually cracked that Kildor has hit. As both the beasts run round behind Canis and collide with each other before Canis can use his pitchfork tail to jab at one of them, they form back up, and as soon as they do, they grab onto that pitchfork tail that almost hit them, and then using the silver disc, they slice right through the tail. They pull Canis back with from what's left of his tail up and just make their way along Canis' body, just avoiding any attacks which Canis tries to do, and lifting up the pitchfork and tail, stabs it into the center of Canis' head. Canis howls in pain from this, and lifting up a claw goes to slash down at Kragos and Kildor, slashing right at their chest. Kragos and Kildor roars in pain by this, but refuses to back down as they use their claws, wrap their arms around Canis' head, as Canis is tossing and turning, trying to throw them off, slam them into walls of the arena, but doesn't seem to be doing anything. And as Kildor bites down into Canis' fur, tearing at the fur, biting into the flesh, they both summon up discs in their hands and stab them into Canis' neck, this time using them to just dig into Canis' neck. The entire time that Kragos and Kildor is up close to Canis, their flame ore is burning away at fur, causing Canis to start howling in pain from the burns that he's getting. Eventually, Canis turns to his shadow form to get away from all this. As he comes back to his normal form, he's singed beyond belief, bleeding from his neck, and his tail still impaled in his head. As he turns to look at Kragos and Kildor, they're just staring him down with 3 discs in each hand as they chuck them all directly at Canis. Canis stares at it, unable to react in time, as they all slice at bits of Canis, causing gashes along his head, his chest, his legs. Canis howls in pain, and by the time he looks back up, Kragos and Kildor have already charged up towards him, where they have a grip on the top of Canis's mouth or the bottom of Canis's mouth, and is pulling it open, for just pulling it wider and wider open. Kanis roaring in pain, trying to bite down, slashing them, but none of it's working. Eventually, Kragos and Kildor is able to just keep pulling it open until they snap Canis's mouth wide open. Canis gasps at the shock by this and is just barely holding on to consciousness until Kragos and Kildor summon up a disc and brings it down directly where the tail was, slamming right into Canis's brain. Kanis gives one last gasp of released air and slumps down to the ground, eyes wide open in shock. Kragos and Kildor makes their way back to their chamber, satisfied with this victory. So with that, Kragos and Kildor's won, Canis has lost. If you think Canis should win, please comment below. I think that how my words final, and Kragos and Kildor's moving on to the next round. So yeah, I can kind of see Canis maybe standing the chance, but Kragos and Kildor just has that little bit more experience with battling, which gives them the advantage, but also they have a ranged attack which they can use to throw at Canis. Whilst Canis could go into a shadow form, he still gets damage in his shadow form from the shadows of objects thrown at him, or the shadow of Kragos and Kildor still actually being able to hit Canis's shadow, which will cause more pain on him. Canis cannot avoid the pain and would probably die. So with that, I can't see Kanis winning. But with that, that's all for this time. I need to answer that phone now if you can hear it. But until then, I'll see you next time.